Hi, thank you for watching. My name's Emily and I work for Africa Tech Festival. Today we are joined by Asif Valley from Microsoft, the National Technology Officer, who will be speaking at Africa Tech Festival next week, actually. So hi, Asif, thank you for joining. How are you doing?
Awesome, Emily. Thank you so much for the opportunity and thank you so much for putting together a great conference. We're really looking forward to it.
Great. Yeah, we're really looking forward to have you join us as well. So thank you so much. So just to start, I guess, let's talk about maybe some of the things that have been going on with Microsoft. So you have a focus on AI. Could you just tell us a little bit more about Microsoft's focus on AI and maybe some projects that are going on there?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, AI is kind of one of those technologies that has been around for several years already, right? But just keeping that in mind, I think so. What we're starting to see, obviously, and what we're looking for is the evolution of that and how that is progressing. And I think we've seen some great progress even during lockdown. What our CEO had said recently is that we've seen almost 2 years of digital transformation take place in 2 months with a lot of our customers. So a lot of our customers are moving at scale to transform their organizations. And AI is one of those areas that we've seen so much progress in, especially in healthcare. COVID-19 has kind of prompted a lot of that to take place. So we've seen bots come in use. We've seen the use of technology to use AI models to help track healthy patients and help track those that have potentially received the virus and or contracted the virus. So there's been a number of changes that have kind of prompted the use of technology in that space. But also we're seeing it in other areas, areas that you wouldn't typically expect to see AI in is in agriculture, as an example. So agriculture is using a lot of AI today to start to do what they call more precision farming. So how do you get to the very specific areas of farming using the limited resources you have to optimize that? So that's another area that we're seeing effective use cases coming out from customers or our industries in the marketplace. But AI has obviously been used for a long time in the financial services industries. Insurance industries have used models or AI models and algorithms to help them better target their markets or their audiences or customers. So that's continued to evolve at pace again. We've seen a lot of that within customers again within the last several months in how their transformation has really been so rapid that the use of the technology is really starting to create real business values. So it's no longer just a nice to have, something that we're going to try and play with or to work on innovation from an innovation perspective. We're seeing organizations derive some real return on investments on the projects that they're working on. So the technology is really delivering value for them at scale.
That's really interesting. So do you think, like, obviously COVID-19 has, really like sped up digital transformation across the continent for loads of companies. Do you think AI then is kind of one of the leading kind of technologies that you're seeing the focus on?
Yeah, absolutely, and no doubt. Some of the references that I've made in the past and also have seen in the more recent past has been specifically on AI. The use of bots, as an example, is a very good example of how you can use simple technologies like bots to actually help you respond to at scale. So think about the use case, right? So you have the Department of Health. They have a country which they look after. In the case of South Africa, it's 55 plus million people that are all really worried about what this pandemic means. I'm talking about really the early days of the pandemic. What does it mean to me as an individual? What does it mean to my family? You're constantly picking up the phone, trying to get hold of people, trying to call the hotline. Now that's a limited task at most, because government only has so many resources available to support them and answer these calls and take these calls from people. So another way is put a bot in place. So let the bot start to answer questions for you. So you can ask some very basic questions. What does it mean for me? What is the kind of issues that are facing? What are the symptoms? Oh, these are the symptoms. Can you please tick it off and tell us what you have? That's a very quick way for me to get a response. So bots have shown to be very effective at a large scale. So dealing with millions of people, trying to ask questions at the same time, or being able to direct people at the same time, a very effective use of it. We've also seen great use of bots. South Africa is very much a multilingual country, right? So we have many different languages in the country. So that's another way you could use AI models, so language in this case, right, to be able to process different languages and be able to provide the translation in real time to people. Again, very apt within this whole COVID-19, but also very apt today in just government serving its people. So all of those are based on AI models that we've seen in use already today.
That's really interesting. So I guess, what maybe starting with kind of AI, but more widely, is there kind of a lot of work going on with partners? I noticed on your virtual booth that you have a lot of partners. So it'd be interesting to know what partnerships mean to Microsoft.
Yeah, no, absolutely great. Thanks for that question. I think so. It's very apt and very appropriate because Microsoft really has built a lot of its business and the delivery of its capabilities through its partners. So we'll definitely not be able to reach all of the customers that we serve, and those really run into the billions of customers around the world that we work with. So how do we reach so many people with a very limited workforce? So partners is an integral part about how we go to market, how we serve our customers, and how we service them at the end of the day. So the opportunity of at a conference like AfricaCom is ideal for us to bring in our partners, and we've done so far for the past several years that we've been participating at your conference, is making sure that partners have the opportunity to showcase what they bring, not just in services or delivery, but also in solutions. So our partners actually augment a lot of our capability, and they build on the technology that we provide them, solutions that augment customer solutions or customer issues, and support that in terms of delivery of those solutions, which then add value to the customer. So that's a great partnership between us and partners. And as I said, they are a true extension of us as an organization.
That's great. So I guess, are you hoping people will come and speak to you at the event about, the partnerships that you have, or what does your involvement in the virtual conference kind of mean this year?
Well, one is, I think so, there is almost an expectation that customers want to have Microsoft at conferences like this for many reasons. One is that they want to be able to engage us. They want to be able to directly talk to us and our partners about the things that matter to them. So it's almost, I personally almost see it as a responsibility for us to actually be there and to be able to engage with them and answer their questions. But also it gives us a great opportunity to really listen and get feedback from customers on what's important to them. And I think that's an important part of our relationship that we are developing with customers, is that two-way interaction to really get that feedback from them and engage them in a way that's meaningful. And more importantly, I think so it gives them the opportunity to come to one place to be able to showcase them some of the latest stuff that's happening. Unfortunately, customers all have time constraints and they don't have enough opportunity to see everything in one place. This provides them with that engagement model to be able to come to one place and really listen to what Microsoft is doing in the space. So great opportunity for us, great opportunity for our customers and partners to create that engagement model with them.
Yeah, definitely. And also going online, I think it's strange when you can't meet face to face at the event. So yeah, what will Microsoft obviously going to have quite a big involvement in the event as usual, which is really exciting. And what will you be covering during the event this year?
Yeah, so there's a couple of things that we're going to be talking about at the conference this year. So I've spoken a little about AI in agriculture. This is a key topic for me. So just going back to a little bit my role as a National Technology Officer, one of the things there is to make sure we drive out the new stuff that Microsoft is doing. And agriculture is one of those areas that we've been investing in significantly. In South Africa, we've invested just over 40 million rand in coming up or looking for solutions that's really going to help create the kind of innovation that we're expecting to see in agriculture. But globally, we've developed this platform called FarmBeats. So very exciting opportunity to help farmers do precision farming and help reduce the cost and improve the output for farmers. Is a very exciting prospect. Considering the importance of food security around the world, and obviously with a growing population and a decrease in resources, you got to think about what you do differently. And I think so this is one of the ways that we think we can make an impact at scale. So that's an exciting opportunity, as I said, to partner with industry and our partners to actually get that messaging and get those solutions out there. So that's one of the areas that we're going to be talking about at the conference. And then there's a couple of new areas around our data center project. We will be launching some new services, so that's really exciting. So I'm not going to give it away right now. We'll talk about it during the conference. And then obviously there's some new announcements around Azure Synapse, which again is a great way to understand how do you maximize the capability you need when it comes to data. So that's been a technology or an advancement in that space that has been announced locally by Microsoft. So those are about the three things that I think is exciting right now and new. And then the most important is skills. So skills development for me is always central to everything we do. So a big part of my role is working on those type of projects that involve what do we need to do when we build the technology to enable and skill customers in the marketplace to actually benefit from the technologies. So this year we announced the Microsoft AI University program. And then I'm going to talk about that again a little during the conference, but also during at our virtual stand. So the importance of the Microsoft AI University program is it's really a partnership between Microsoft and the universities and what we call TVET colleges in South Africa. So where we've got a lot of them already having agreed to go on the program next year. We started obviously this year with piloting with one of the universities, the Central University of Technology. So they're almost completed with the pilot. We'll have the opportunity in the next 2 weeks to showcase some of the projects that the students have worked on. So really exciting. But next year we're going to be able to showcase the program rollout. Obviously, so the program will go live throughout all the universities and TVET colleges that have adopted the program. So it's going to be a 1-year program where students are going to have the opportunity of getting a depth of experience that's really needed in this space. It's not just the academic learning piece, it's also the hands-on piece. So it's going to be a really cool experience for these students to go through. So that's another exciting project that we're working on. And then obviously, lastly, to augment that has been the Global Skills Initiative that Microsoft announced earlier in the year. So here, our objective is to train around 25 million people globally. So obviously, the impact there is COVID-19, so a lot of job losses have taken place during COVID-19. So what we want to present those unemployed what is opportunities to reskill themselves at almost no cost, basically. So we have made available a whole lot of LinkedIn learning courses, learning parts that we call them. So we have 10 learning parts in there. We have access to Microsoft other technologies that we have learning. Microsoft Learn, which is another resource which provides with deep technical skilling for people that want to go that way. And then GitHub, which is the resource for developers. So we're making a lot of this free until kind of March, June next year for them to be able to access and reskill themselves. So that's a really exciting project as well. And we're going to be showcasing that as well during our discussions in the coming week.
Oh, amazing. That sounds really interesting. So will people be able to go to your booth to learn more about that as well and speak to your team?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, please, everybody's welcome to come and talk to us about these different programs and much more. But we'll also have the opportunity for people to attend the different speaking slots. So we have our MD Lillian speaking as one of the keynotes. We have Charlene Fusmoto, who's head of philanthropy, is going to talk about the Global Skills Initiative. We have one of our other team members going to talk about security. So security is a very important topic as well in our life. As you can imagine, this has been a hot topic everywhere around the world. And then obviously, there's a couple of other areas that I'm going to be focusing on. One is agri as well, so making sure that we get the message out there. But we're looking forward to a really exciting week.
Yeah, great. Thank you. Yeah, we're looking forward to it as well. And we're really, really happy to obviously have Microsoft join again. Really looking forward to hearing from Microsoft next week and going to visit you at your booth. Whether you're watching the talk live or on demand, you can watch all their panel discussions, get involved with the conversation. And thank you so much for joining me today, Asif. Yeah, and we'll see you next week.
Great. Thanks, and looking forward to it. Cheers.
Thanks. See you then.